Hello, this is what came through for February 20th, 2026. Okay, so this is story time because some things came through last night that I need to talk about. First of all, I know, different background, this all ties to it. If you didn't know, because I haven't really talked about it, we do have a podcast. You can see it here, right up here. We do a lot of different topics. We talk so much different things of spirituality and aliens and AI and religion. We cover everything. We cover everything. And I do trance channeling on quite a bit of it as well. That is something that I haven't talked about on here as well, is that I can also trance channel, so that is also done live on these. I have spoken to many members and have them come through of the Galactic Federation, and some really crazy things and not surprising and really interesting things have come through with those. So I encourage you to go find us wherever you listen to your podcasts. Give us a listen, and let us know what you think. But having said that, the reason behind me coming and talking about this is because of what was coming through. First of all, the weirdest thing happened. I was being shown more like into the Epstein files. I haven't like read them, so I don't know everything that's in there. I'm going to assume that there is stuff about labs and the things tied to cloning and stem cells and all of that. I'm going to assume that that is in there. I was taken and shown this part of a lab, and I was trying to get the name, and it was like I had it, and somehow it was like somebody came in and almost like erased it from what I was remembering. And so I have not even the slightest clue of what it was, of what the lab was called, but it's like I was being shown what that specific lab was that he was working with within wherever it was. I'm sure there's like places named, but this one was like somehow encrypted or something, and it like was almost like someone came in and was like, you don't get to see what that is. You don't get to know what that is. So I know that that is tied to things with the cloning and that he was involved in. The second part, many videos I have talked about disclosure. People want to ask me what have they're asking, like, what have you been predicting with all your things? And that's obviously, I've said that's not been my goal. I've been trying to come on here and talk about what is coming through. I've talked about disclosure many times, especially recently, and that there will be these little things that come out and they're going to lead to some stuff, but it's not going to like fully be the truth. That has been happening because of things people have been sending me, right? Obama came out and was like, yep, they're real, aliens are real. And then people are asking, well, the president, is he gonna come out and talk about them? Are they? And then I get sent this stuff. What's funny is they want me to talk about it, and then I wake up and I'm getting sent this stuff that I guess the president has said that he's gonna have them release everything they have, right? The government's gonna release everything they have. If the issue is if they do, it's not going to be like the truth, right? It's not. It's going to be what they want to tell us. If it's hidden information, they're not going to release it all. They're not going to admit that like they play a huge part in a lot of the things that we've even seen, where they've had their own crafts, they've staged their own things, they have the technology themselves of a lot of things that we don't even know about. So that's the problem that I have with this. Things that are going to come out, the only good thing will be is if they admit and talk about all the different types of being and species and things that live in other planets, galaxies, and beyond, and that it's all existed for umpteenth years, and all of this. If that's the only validation that I would feel from any of that, but I just don't feel like it's going to be that. They're going to talk about crafts and recoveries and things like that, but it's going to be a lot of misinformation, and they don't give all the information to the president. So he's not going to know either way if it's all the truth or not, because they don't give that information to them. So whatever comes out, I'm going to hope, but I'm going to hope that there's no fear based behind it, but I wouldn't be surprised if there was, and anything else coming out with it. I know there's a movie coming out. The only reason I want to see it is because I want to see what they're going to try to do with it. I want to see what they're going to show, what they're going to try to instill in people, like what is the goal of the feeling that you're supposed to feel after you watch this. Because the fear should not exist with disclosure. Because that is not the goal of other species and like the aliens. That is not their goal. You can think that I'm crazy for all these things I'm talking about. I hope you don't, because I know a lot of you, and the majority of you who follow me, believe all of this too. So I knew that I was meant to come on here and talk about this today because I'm really passionate about it, and they asked me to come and talk about it. And it just so happens to coincide that there is a lot more stuff coming out, which is exactly what I said would happen. But it's not going to be the exact truth. They are going to give the information that they want to give, and it's going to be like nonsense. Like, we've heard this all before. What else? What are you hiding? So I'm hoping it doesn't work. I'm hoping we're like, this isn't all of it. Just like the EPSTEIN files, right? They were releasing stuff and we're like, this isn't all of it. Nice try. So keep talking about it. Let's see what they do end up deciding to release for all these things. And yeah, I'm going to keep talking about it. And I want you guys to keep talking about it, because I'm also not okay with them putting the extraterrestrials into this bucket of like fear, and that it's scary and be afraid, and because that has never been their goal. That is not what they're about. That is not what they're trying to do. There is good and bad in everything that exists, but that is not what they're trying to do. That is not who they are as a main collective. That is not what they're trying to do. So, all to say is keep talking about it. I'm going to try to dive deeper also into that EPSTEIN stuff that I felt like I was blocked out of. That was super weird. I'm going to try again. I'm going to keep talking about disclosure. Let's see what else comes out about it. And then again, the reason that I have our podcast here in the background is because we talk a lot about this stuff. And this is back before any of it, right? We've been doing this podcast for, I don't even know, a year or more. So please go find us and listen to the stuff that we talk about. We're going to keep talking about stuff on there too. I'm going to keep talking about stuff on here. And I want you guys to do the same.